Once again, Instagram is popping. This is a special video for one of the people on Instagram who asked for my take on Devin Haney versus Vasyl Lomachenko. I didn't have this channel when the fight happened. It's a new channel. So watch the groovy intro and we're going to get my opinion. Oh my God, I bet some people are on pins and needles for this one. The fight was extremely competitive. It was what I'd view as a perception fight. I think I've rewatched it a couple of times. I've watched it and thought Haney won. I've watched it and thought Lomachenko won. You can go into this fight with no bias and see an outcome where both fighters came away with the victory. I think what hurts Devin in this fight is that when he had bad moments in this fight, Lomachenko landed the more eye-catching, the more flashy punches. And when you win a fight but you didn't land the flashier, more telling blows, the punches that snap the head back, those fights tend to leave a sour taste in the fans' minds. Those are the fights that we often go, man, we kind of want a rematch, because even if you did win, although fans are never reasonable, they'll be like, you lost, you suck. Even if you did win, there's a bit of doubt in some fans' minds, and they want to see you kind of separate. And I think that's the key word, right? The bout didn't really see a full separation between Haney and Lomachenko, and I think what some people found concerning is Devin didn't fully separate from Haney, or Devin didn't separate from Loma, and he had a big size advantage. So then I think some people are looking at, okay, what happens when someone's the same size as Devin and they might possess the same traits as Lomachenko? That's one way of looking at it. I think the other way of looking at it is Vasyl Lomachenko is one of the best fighters of the modern era. People always kind of get mad because I think that networks really tried to force feed his achievements and they didn't let Lomachenko just kind of happen organically. They didn't say, hey, this guy's fighting for a belt. It's like people were really kind of, you've got to understand how great this guy is, what he's doing. And I think if they had been like, this guy is doing something historic, we're not going to see this for a long time, and then let the viewer jump to that conclusion, he probably would have a lot more goodwill, because it's kind of in many ways hard to dislike Lomachenko because all he's doing is trying to actively pursue the very best fights in the sport of boxing. It's hard. It's hard to dislike him. I think that in the same way, Devin Haney is very similar to Lomachenko in the sense that once he's gotten the belt, he's actively pursued the best fights in boxing, and it's hard to dislike Devin Haney. The shame of this matter of this bout is, politically and in terms of a monetary standpoint, I think Devin has to go either look at a Regis Prograis fight. Regis looked a bit vulnerable against Zarilla. It's a 50-50 gamble, right? Is Regis coming down a hill? Is Regis's footwork not going to be as sharp? Can Devin kind of catch him at the perfect moment? Or is Regis going to catch rhythm, be highly motivated, and hit extremely hard and kind of wear Devin out? It's a more interesting fight on paper. It's a more interesting question. So though I think a lot of fans would go, I'd like to see the rematch with Lomachenko, I think if they objectively look at it, there's probably more people that want to see the Prograis fight, because the question around Haney's career is simple. Can Devin take the big punchers and take the physicality of people that are bigger than him? Regis Prograis is bigger than Devin Haney, and more than likely hits harder than Devin Haney, based on his record, based on what he does. So the Regis Prograis question will answer the question first proposed by Jorge Linares when Linares buzzed Devin Haney, I believe, in the 9th or 10th round of their prize fight. This fight should answer that question. So I think that my thoughts on Haney Lomachenko is, it was a solid world championship bout. It's a bout that I think you can rewatch, and if you go in with bias, you're going to come out with bias. If you go in objectively, I think you can find an outcome either way. It comes down to how you score fights, the objective nature you go in. Does the champion get a slight edge? If Devin gets a slight edge for being the world champion, you got to take it from the champion, then Devin certainly won in that perception of thinking, because Loma didn't fully take the belt from him. I think that the fight was just what we need to see in world championship fights, where It was an engaging fight, an entertaining fight for all 12 rounds where both guys laid it on the line. And I think that what happened was the age of Lomachenko is starting to catch up with him. He's not as active as he used to be when he was younger. He can't let his hands go, and that's just aging is real, getting older is real. And Devin exploited some of his youthful gifts, which he should exploit at this point in his career. I think Haney and Loma was a great prelude to Regis Prograis versus Devin Haney, which should happen October 28th, which I think is a fantastic fight. And much respect to Devin, because Devin's given the fans these really exciting fights. You can pick and choose and say this and that. Regis Prograis is a very dangerous fight for him. And for him to actively pursue that fight, that's a pretty big deal. Leave a comment. Let people know what you think about this video.